Welcome to my preview of the Vrbo Citrus Bowl featuring number 15 Iowa 10-3 versus number 22 Kentucky 9-3, 1 p.m. Eastern Time Saturday, January 1st on ABC. I apologize for my voice a little bit in this one. I've been previewing a ton of videos tonight. I'm trying to knock out all the videos before I go on vacation. I'm previewing every single bowl game this season, so make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss a single one. But Kentucky is favored in this one by 3 points, given a 52.2% chance of winning. Now, they will be without a couple of key players here, which were unfortunately in a car accident. They're fine, according to the coaching staff. They're fine. They're just not going to be available to play. That's going to be one of their second top wide receiver, Josh Alley, who had 601 yards receiving this year and 3 touchdowns, and then their tight end, 5th on the team receiving, Isaiah Epps, who had 171 yards receiving and a touchdown. So our prayers with them as they continue to recover, but by all reports, they're fine. They're just not going to be playing in this game due to that accident. So that's going to impact them a little bit. Now, flipping gears a little bit, there is a player who won't be in this game, but not due to accident, a perfectly healthy player who should be playing, who is giving up on his team here. Iowa, Tyler Goodson, the running back for them, 1,151 yards rushing, 6 touchdowns, 4.5 yards per carry, also active in the receiving game, 247 yards receiving and a touchdown. Has decided he doesn't care about his team, his fans, or the program that got him to this point. It's all about him, and he's off to go get that sweet cash. So wishing him all the worst of luck in the future as he goes forward and abandons his team and makes college football just a little bit worse, like every single player that leaves prior to the postseason does, because it really kind of devalues the bowl season, which ultimately the bowl season is the end, is what the regular season is shooting for, and also devalues the regular season, and overall just makes college football a little bit less fun to watch. So all the worst of luck to him as he proceeds into the future. Passing game, however, is going to be the main target for Kentucky, and that is going to be tough because they've only thrown for 2,310 yards. They've really relied on that running game, so his absence is going to be a big storyline for for Iowa. I didn't mean to say Kentucky. It's going to be a big storyline for Iowa in this game, and I think potentially his selfishness is going to end up leading to a loss in this game. So, series history, no previous matchups, first ever matchup between these two programs. Record reviews, Iowa shooting above average, what was predicted. I was looking at 9-3 for them, and Athlon Sports was saying 8-4, ended up getting to 10-3, and getting to go out and compete in the Big Ten Championship, which of course they lost to a good Michigan team that's going to the playoffs this season. For Kentucky, they started off, I was thinking they would go 6-6. Athlon Sports also saying 7-5, a team that went 5-6 last year and 8-5 the year before that, managing to get to 9-3 in a very tough year, a very tough schedule against some good SEC teams, managed to get to 9-3. So really a great turnaround season for Kentucky as they potentially start to work their way out of that bottom to middle tier of the SEC to maybe moving into the upper middle tier and a chance to compete on a regular basis for not just some of these bigger bowl games, but maybe also potentially getting themselves in a position where they could be in the conversation for an SEC championship game. Probably a few years away or still, but they're definitely moving in the right direction. How these teams get to this point? Well, for Iowa, they started off the season 6-0. Wins against number 17 at the time, Indiana, number 9 at the time, Iowa State, number 4, Penn State. All those teams obviously not ending up quite as good as they looked at the beginning of the year, but nonetheless, top 25, top 10 wins along the way here for Iowa as they started off strong to start the year. However, the Grim Reaper of the Purdue Boilermakers, who also upset Michigan State's season, took them out 24-7. They ended up going on a little bit of a losing streak here, but they also lost to Wisconsin 27-7 before finishing the season strong 4-1 before a really devastating loss to a good Michigan team again, 42-3 in that Big Ten championship game. So a season that started off strong and could have been so much more, ending up disappointing at the end here for Iowa. For Kentucky, also starting off 6-0. Wins against number 10 Florida before taking a loss to a number 1 Georgia at the time. Not something that you should be super disappointed in. I mean, it's number 1 Georgia. They're one of the best teams in the country, and they were at the time number 1. Obviously sitting now at number 2, but they were at the time one of the best teams in the country, and also has the best defense in the country by far. So Kentucky, I believe that they were the first team to score an offensive touchdown against Georgia, so that's definitely a feather in their cap. Along the way, after that, they went on a little bit of a losing streak with losses to Mississippi State and to Tennessee, 45-42. Before finishing the season on a 3-0 run with victory against their rival, in-state rival, 52-21 against Louisville. So so both these programs starting off the season strong with 6-0 runs, and then finishing the season strong with 4-1 and 3-0 runs, with a little bit of a stumble there mid-season. So two very good programs here, 10-3, 9-3. It's very disappointing that certain players on these teams, or not on these teams, but specifically Tyler Goodson, doesn't think that it's worth playing in this matchup, because this is a very, very good bowl game that he's going to be missing out on. So the key here for Iowa. I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead of myself. I'm getting a little bit around here. So I've been doing a ton of videos tonight. I'm trying to knock them all out. So I'm just kind of like Iowa and Kentucky stumbling down the stretch in the middle of the season. Anyhow, top players of the game. So top player of the game here for Iowa is going to be their linebacker, Jack Campbell, 6'5", 243, one of just a monster on defense. Look, listen to these stats: 126 tackles, 1 sack, 5 passes defended, 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown through with those interceptions, 1 forced fumble, 2 fumbles recovered, and a fumble recovery for a touchdown. So just one of the best defensive performances, especially that linebacker spot, of any player this season. For Kentucky, it's going to be their running back, Chris Rodriguez Jr., 1,272 yards rushing, 8 touchdowns, 6.2 average yards per carry average. So for the keys to the game here for Iowa, it's going to be calm the seas, establish some stability. They have some quarterback controversy going on right now between Petraeus, who has thrown for 1,669 yards, and Padilla, who's thrown for 636. Both of them finished under 57% on the season, and I don't believe a starting quarterback has been named at this time. So there's a little bit of a quarterback controversy going on. No Goodson. And so you're basically looking at Williams, who has 207 yards rushing, Martin, who has 190 yards rushing. You've got to, top teams. You were a top team at the beginning of the season looking at going into the playoffs. You need to prove that you are still that team, that next year you can make that same run and be in that same conversation. But to do that, you have to have the next man up mentality. So for both these programs, especially here for Iowa, they need to find some stability to build that foundation, which is definitely cracking and very weak right now with the loss of the running game and issues in the quarterback room. You have to build a foundation that you can work on and build towards next season as well. So for my key to the game here for Iowa is calm the season, establish some stability. Find that one guy. Someone has to step up on the passing game. Someone has to step up on the running game. Maybe some receivers have to make a bigger impact than they normally do. But somebody has to step up and become a focal point that the rest of the team can build themselves around. For Kentucky, exploit the cracks in the foundation. Go after the quarterbacks. Go after the running backs. Shake their confidence. Those quarterbacks are going to be looking over their shoulder, trying to wonder if the next guy is going to be coming in. Same for the running backs who aren't used to having to shovel this load. They're going to be getting rotated in and out constantly. So for Kentucky, I'd go extra strong on defense. I would be sending in those blitzes. I'd be trying to rattle those quarterbacks, try to force them into bad situations, try to get those running backs down behind the line of scrimmage for some big losses. Do anything you can to make these quarterbacks and these running backs start to kind of internally fight their own angst and their own anxiety about whether or not they're going to get yanked, which will cause them to stress a little bit more and push as they go throughout this game. So my key to the game here for Kentucky is exploit those cracks in the foundation, really try to blast their way through the weaknesses that Iowa is starting to expose here late in the season. A chance for Kentucky to come away with a big win. My prediction on this one is that the loss of their main running back here for Iowa is going to be proved too much, and his selfishness is going to doom an Iowa team that otherwise I think would have had a really good shot of getting a win against an SEC opponent. And so without an established quarterback, without that main running back, I think a resurgent Kentucky ends up getting the win here, and I'm going to call over on the over-under. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'm previewing every single bowl game this season, so we've got 3 more to do tonight, and then I'll be done until the national championship game. But I'll put the link to that playlist in the description of this video. Thanks for watching this video, and as always, go Big Blue!